Nisselson, everybody.
Thank you very much.
The clicker is here.
Clicker's here. Good morning, everybody. All right, let's try that again. As loud as you can on the count of three. Good morning. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. All right, one more time. Count of three. Really loudly. 1, 2, 3. Good morning! You too, Robin. I'm Evan Nisselson. We're going to talk about eye-to-eye. Vision is the killer app for artificial intelligence. A little bit of background. I've been investing at LDV Capital, which only invests in vision companies for the last 5 years. Prior to that, an entrepreneur for 18 in Silicon Valley, New York, and Europe. Some succeeded, and some failed. I'm also a professional photographer. We invest in people. People build businesses. People make money, not companies. Remember that. We invest in people, smart people with deep domain in visual technologies. What are visual technologies? Basically anything that analyzes visual data. It could be virtual reality, augmented reality, medical imaging, autonomous driving cars. Hence, you see a trend here. Artificial intelligence would not work without visual data, and that's what we're going to talk about. Here's a little perspective. Small fund, we get in very, very early. We also invest in Europe and North America, and these are some of the great investors that are following our initial investments. But the war over artificial intelligence will be won with visual data. Cameras are everywhere. We all have one in our pocket, but soon we're going to have them all over our body. Soon they're going to be everywhere, such as LiDAR, thermal. You go to the doctor, there's MRIs, X-rays. There's a war over the camera, and people aren't talking about it as much, and I like that. That's okay, because we're very focused. But think about this war over owning the camera. All of these companies are in aggressive war, and actually recently started stepping up that war, which relates to opportunities that all of you could build. Okay, stepping back in time, in 2010, Instagram started. Then Snapchat, or now called Snap. And Microsoft actually added one of the early artificial intelligence apps about a year ago. Recently, Amazon Echo launched a camera. I wrote an article called The Internet of Eyes is going to be larger than the Internet of Things. The question is, how are we going to analyze that visual data? Snap again added 3D world filters. Oh, look, Mark's saying the camera will be the augmented reality platform. Instagram adds 3D filters. Oh, there's another small company. Google creates Lens, which is actually going to be their search box. Soon, Apple will come out with their 3D sensor. But why am I talking about this? Why is this important? Because 90% at least of the data our brains gather every day and every second is visual. So visual data from photos to videos to any kind of visual data. You're looking at me right now, obviously. Artificial intelligence will not succeed if it's going to replace some of our jobs. And all this discussion about replacing jobs, I don't know. I don't like to work. I don't really realize why everybody's worried about losing their job. We could do other creative things. It's really a ridiculous argument, but we can have that over drinks. Artificial intelligence will not succeed without visual data because to have artificial intelligence, to mimic what we do every day, 90% of that data will have to be visual. And vision is our killer app and will be AI's killer app. But let's talk about examples. We can't see the galaxy without cameras, the Earth, satellites. We can't have satellite selfies, which we will have soon. Enough of these stupid sticks we hold the damn cameras with. You're going to grab a friend, you're going to look up, press a button, and smile. I don't laugh. Just like Brock earlier, these things will happen. Guarantee you. And we'll show you a list of things where people thought I was crazy earlier, like this, that will happen. Cars could not be autonomous if they could not see. We're talking about many cameras on the outside and the inside of these cars. The Internet of Eyes will be everywhere, making decisions, hopefully improving our lives. Here's an example of something I said years ago where everybody thought I was absolutely crazy. In May of 2003, said camera phones would replace point-and-shoot cameras. Nuts. Yeah, I had a little more hair there. Nobody's, commenting, but that's, some things change. The next comment is the DSLR market. Anything non-camera phone will die except for professional photographers, and even they are using their camera phones. The competition years ago, if you remember, we have 5 megapixel, we have 6 megapixel, we have 7 megapixel, we have a better sensor, blah, blah, blah. Enough. 3D capture in our phones, coming out later this year, and some are already out, will revolutionize this industry to the next generation. So this is mocking, obviously, the digital camera, but soon Google Pixel. It's all about the camera. It's also named a camera. Triple sensing, lossless imagery. All these names are from the DSLR market. I'm talking about a 20 megapixel sensor on a camera phone. Why are we talking about this? Because the interesting part is that it is enabling all of you to visually capture and visually communicate. At the end of the day, it's not about the technology. It's about content. It's about what we're sharing. And the visual web will soon be 3D. We talk about this all the time. We hear about this because there's going to be sessions at this summit. But what's really happening here? Once again, it's just another way to see content. Whether or not it's Magic Leap, Oculus, HoloLens. But the real cool thing these days is for businesses, the ROI for business. Forget about entertainment for a second. The assembly lines, manufacturing, medicine. It's all about enabling the vision to be more effective and more efficient. How about for the blind and having glasses? Forget about Google Glass, which failed miserably, but it did start a generation of new products. Having the blind be able to walk into a grocery store and say, take a right at the apples in 5 feet. Oh, by the way, this apple is not ripe. That one is more ripe. That is possible now. And that's a revolution for the blind. This might be a little extravagant in the future as we're walking down the street with contact lenses, but it is going to be a reality. All cameras will have that 3D capability. Let's talk about entertainment really quickly. Penrose, Blackout, these are all examples. They're going to the Tribeca Film Festival, and festivals around the world are going to be more and more 3D. Commerce. Like I said earlier, this is going to go away. We are no longer going to use credit cards because a camera from Alexa will be able to say, hey, Evan, those red pants you were wearing yesterday have a hole in it. I know you hate shopping. There's one more left. You want me to order it for you? I would click it in a second. Cameras everywhere helping us our style, from virtual shopping to knowing who we are. This is the next big step, and it scares some people. I think it's great. It's going to help us interact and learn. We're going to be able to pay with our phone. You can use selfies to capture soon. You're not going to have to write passwords. I hate passwords. I can't stand I got 30 of them. Okay? It's ridiculous. Use my finger, use my voice, a picture of me, we have it. I hate when the credit card company doesn't allow me to pay for something. It knows my phone is near me. It's me. Why cut me? Oh, I didn't know you were going to Sophia. Well, I didn't tell you. You should just know I'm here because my phone's here, right? My phone and a couple other things. My voice is here. My eyes are here. I mean, I'm here. The authentication, another whole layer of vision, will authenticate us for these payments. We all have unique looks. Once again, vision. Another perspective, many different pixels of me. Tomorrow's doctors, this is one of the things I really love. The cameras will replace the stethoscopes. Why is it the most non-technical thing they have around their neck when you walk in? I think it's just like a badge. It's like it's an identity. It says I'm a doctor, okay? But soon, that's right, we're going to swallow cameras. There's actually a couple very successful companies. We're going to have them inside of us. Some of you are looking at me like, he's absolutely crazy. But that's okay. I like when people think I'm crazy. Majority of the time, that happens. It happens. The question is when, and I don't know when that's going to be. This is a prototype of a nano camera. That's cool. Radiology, I mean, medicine really pushed the envelope for technology in imaging, but we really didn't talk about it. But now we're doing CT scans, obviously, and colorizing the brain. This is a great new invention that a guy at Matt Rosen at Harvard recently. This is an MRI. I don't know if any of you have gone to the doctor and had to go in that long tube and get, kind of scared in there, and it scans you. This is an affordable, portable MRI that is exponentially more affordable. So it could go in an ambulance. It could go in your home. It could go at the stadium. Different ways of visually analyzing our bodies. Once again, a couple companies that are fascinating me and that we look at all the time is 100 million pictures of human cells to accelerate the treatment of diseases. So once again, the goal is not the technology. The goal is how can we improve our lives? How can we be healthier? How can we be happier? How can we avoid doing the things, monotonous things that we don't want to do that robots can do? I can't wait for that. For example, cancer. What if you could actually see via color there, those are the specific cancers that we could not see with the human eye, and imagine radiologists and others using the human eye to figure that out. Doesn't make any sense. A couple different views of our brain, which obviously doesn't look like the brain, but they're new ways of tracking our health and navigating what was not possible before. There are exponential opportunities. Let's go to the next one. We have a lot of hype these days in autonomous cars. Look at all the cameras. In order to make an autonomous vehicle work, there's at least 16 visual cameras outside, from radar to LiDAR to commoditized cameras. There's a war. Once again, remember, the war over who owns the camera, because they want to own the visual data of our lives and help us do everything we do. Mapillary is a company we invested in, crowdsourcing Street View and analyzing the activities that are happening in the streets. Okay? Mapillary crowdsourced visual data. This is 3D. This might be an animation if it goes. In real time, understanding our world from this biker. How about LiDAR data tracking the street? From many different vantage points. And so people freak out. Look at all these cameras of security, big brother. Let's do it, reverse it. I'd rather, they know it's me walking down the street here. I'd love them to send me a picture of me in that security camera if they're not using it. What about a new way to pass a truck safer? Cars are going to start communicating to each other. Hey, say, that car ahead of you, that car cut me off 3 weeks ago. But look out for that car. That's cool, right? Why do I have to worry about it? Or the reverse, as the biggest challenge happening soon is going to be which cars are autonomous or semi-autonomous and which ones are not. I was in California walking behind a car that I knew it had all the cameras on it, and it was actually a little jerky, like somebody was drunk, but it was an autonomous car that wasn't really doing that great, so I backed up. So then I realized, well, we're going to have to be careful of not the humans driving, of that car. Is that car any good? Can it see properly? Is the cameras working well? It's a whole other level of perception that we have to have trust with, just like we have trust of humans, whether or not we should or not. Cars will be safer, but we'll still have to trust them. And they'll all communicate with each other. So all the different layers of technology that analyze this vision is what we invest in. And we love finding smart people out in the audience that are doing cool stuff with this. For example, like the early days of the computing industry, this is the computer running the autonomous car. It's a little big, but will shrink. Planes have to map our world in order not to hit, and they've been driving autonomously for years. Boats. We just invested in a maritime autonomous boat company. So work boats and shipping boats. They actually already have a lot of radar data. More and more autonomous vehicles so that we can focus on enjoying life. That might be a little extreme. I hope I don't have that belly, but it is a potential for our future. So here, as I referenced earlier, Evan, you're crazy. The ones in green have happened since I said things were going to happen. So all professionals are going to shoot digitally. They thought I was absolutely crazy. Camera phones replace point-and-shoot cameras. Satellite imaging will move financial markets. There was a couple articles recently about the major hedge funds leveraging satellite data. The Internet of Eyes, which I wrote an article about a year or two ago, and recently the Amazon Alexa came out. And let's wait to see a couple of those other ones that happen. I'm sure they're going to happen. It's just a question of when and which smart people in the audience will build those. Once again, I want to reiterate, more cameras is not the goal. The goal is visually communicating and better understanding our lives. It's all about loving the living of life because life is extremely short, and it's just the beginning. Carpe diem. Thank you very much, everybody.